Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Once again, we're joined by Shawn, the Japan book hunter. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Still alive.
Still alive. Good.
I haven't worked myself to death yet.
This is a good thing. So you have some stuff like at the shop that you want to kind of share and show us like what you got going on, some unique things.
Yeah, I figured I've just busted out some popular titles, some popular mangaka that I have around. And I don't, sorry everyone, I don't have a top-down camera set up today, so I'll just kind of show covers and kind of explain a little bit about the mangaka. So there's and in my shop I carry everything from, my specialty is like kind of 70s, 80s gekiga or real picture manga, which is like more real stories, a lot of sex, violence, drama, or even sometimes without the sex and violence, just dramatic stories. But I like a little bit of everything. I'm a big Lupin Sansei, Lupin the Third fan from the animes. I loved him when I was a kid, but so a lot of people don't know that Monkey Punch did a lot of other stuff other than like Lupin. Everyone just knows Lupin in the West, but in the 70s, he did a bunch of one-shots, and one that's really fun is Dracula.
Oh, that looks cool.
So it's about a college kid that gets bitten by a vampire and turns into a vampire, of course. Yeah. But all it really does is makes him super horny. So it's a gag. It's not. You would think it was a horror manga at first, but then you start looking for like the sexy legs over here. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And it's basically about him going around to, instead of suck ladies' blood, just
other things,
dilly dally around with them a little bit. And it's not like in an aggressive way, it's not in a creepy weird way, it's just like it's just a fun one. And as you know, like with a lot of Japanese manga and anime, like there's always going to be, like even in the Lupin, you always have like one sexy girl in the crew.
Sure.
And in this Dracula, he's always chasing the sexy lady around.
Right. So basically we're living in a world where every college student has been turned into a vampire in reality, according to this book.
Yeah. And like back in especially in the 70s here in Japan, like that was when all the manga artists were pushing what they could do, because before, pre-70s in the 60s, everything was still very, very tame. It was, there's a couple artists like Iji Mashiro in the late 60s that started like really doing more like hardcore sci-fi horror stuff like that. But for the most part, it wasn't until the 70s that you had people really trying to push the envelope. And during that time, even the people doing cute stuff like Lupin the Third, like Monkey Punch, dip their toes in the sexy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That's a trip to see.
Yeah, and I know that in our last video you had Habu Goes Forth by Maeda Toshio.
Yes.
He's of course most famous for Legend of the Overfiend, but I sell a lot of his stuff online. One, because he's my friend.
Sure.
And second of all, because I just love his stuff. It's just amazing art, and he was so prolific. He put so much stuff out, and stuff like Okake Denshi, which is one of his lesser known titles.
That's cool.
And of course it's edo manga, erotic manga, but with gags and jokes in it and stuff.
Sure.
But his ability to draw the female form is amazing. This one actually is signed by Maeda.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because when he comes over, he always signs stuff for me.
Nice. How old is he now?
He's 70, around.
Oh, okay.
A little over his butt. God, the guy is full of life and energy.
Yeah,
full of life and energy.
Still in working condition.
Yeah, look up he's just recently started getting back on social media. He was only using like Facebook before, but now he has a YouTube where he tells like little 5-minute funny stories about like the time he met Anthony Bourdain, or the time that he had a stupid assistant trying to get rich and famous off of being a mangaka, and he's like, what are you thinking? We're not rich and famous over here.
Right.
I mean, there's a 0.01% of mangaka in Japan are rich and famous.
Right.
Most of them are just grinding out a living,
Yeah, if that's what you're going for, you're doing the wrong thing.
And yeah, he did. Of course, Maeda Toshio did lots of sexy stuff. This one is like kind of a motorcycle based manga. But again, like when we saw Habu,
Yeah.
just great detail.
Yeah.
Great attention to detail. There's one trick that they would do in the 70s is they'd photostat stuff and then they just draw over it to get like the cities and the alleys and the everything like really perfect.
Yes.
But then you saw that trend end in the 70s, and then by the 80s, they were maybe using something like that for reference, but just drawing it out. And Maeda had assistants, one of whom, if you don't mind, one sec.
No, that's fine.
I see it right here. One of whom was, one of his assistants was was Goblin Moriguchi. Everybody asks me for Goblin Moriguchi. At least once.
Look at that.
Somebody wants. This is Slasher, and this is like, how would I translate it? Like crazy sacrifice, wild sacrifice.
What the heck? Look at his head.
So this one, all of the characters are based on heavy metal characters. So you have Eddie from, you have
Iron Maiden,
from Iron Maiden. Remember Wasp in the 80s? The cover, the guy had like circular saw blades on his sleeves. So you have that character in here. You have just all of these 80s heavy metal hairband characters made into demons that go around the city killing and doing all sorts of awful stuff to everyone in the city.
Where's my wallet?
These I do come across now and then. Slasher is much harder. These go for about $200 when I can find them, because again, it's one of those holy grails, rare one. But so Goblin Moriguchi was one of Maeda Toshio's assistants for a long time, and then I'd heard that he had some mental issues, and he ended up quitting manga and just disappearing. Nobody knows where he's at now. He just disappeared off the face of the planet.
Well, I mean, that job can drive you to that.
Especially when you're drawing the kind of stuff that he was drawing.
Right. Yeah. Get into some dark places.
Yeah. So some of these guys like Maeda that were doing 20 pages per week for weekly release for weekly magazines, and then also doing little side projects, maybe like a little 5 pages for a little S&M magazine, 5 pages for this, 5 for that. Then they had assistants, of course, but not like Go Nagai. You get into stuff like, Devilman.
Yep.
Everyone knows Devilman.
Yep.
I mean, Go Nagai had about 150, 200 assistants.
Oh.
Yeah. So
did he actually draw anything?
I don't know. So Devilman is clearly like his hand. You can tell. I've owned like up here back in the corner.
Yeah.
That's all Go Nagai stuff up there.
Wow.
Most of it nobody knows. So like those top 2 shelves, other than the little corner with Otomo stuff, that's all Go Nagai. People know the Mazinger Z, or they know the Devilman or the Cutie Honey, or these big IPs that were made into anime, Getter Robo, stuff like that. But they don't know his like lesser known stuff like Rambo Teacher.
Yes. What is that?
Rambo Teacher. He's a teacher, but he's also a Rambo.
Of course.
And this is a gag manga. And I'm always trying to find the lesser known Go Nagai stuff, because
that's amazing.
And he did a lot of good ones, and I kind of credit Go Nagai for making manga sexy, because he took cute IPs like, and they would have nudity in them.
Sure.
Devilman has nudity in it. Like he goes into there's the whole bathroom scene with the demon coming out of the bathtub, and I forget her name. She's taking a bath, and like I remember when I was a kid seeing the anime being like, I think I just saw a boobie. What's the thing? What's going on? Like X-Men, you never see a boobie in the 1993 whatever X-Men TV
Right.
anime series,
Right.
But around that same time, that's when I saw Devilman, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this?
I
And
need more Devilman.
I need
And
more
now you
Devil.
have it all.
I do. And so I'm constantly trying to find even popular mangaka like Go Nagai, and
Sure.
trying to find one shots or small short series that most people wouldn't know about, and showcasing those too, because a lot of them just are amazing.
I love it.
What else do I have here? Of course, I sell also a lot of popular manga from like Akira related stuff,
Sure.
Otomo,
The
Katsuhiro
Atomo stuff.
Otomo,
Yeah.
of course. So I'm always trying to keep in stock some of his art books around, like Kaba, which everyone knows. I used to be able to find Kaba in Japan for about $100 to $130. Now they're going for like 200 and up, because I don't know if it's because of the demand has gone up. I don't know if it's because they've sold so many that there's no supply there, but
Yeah,
they're getting expensive.
yeah. I mean, perhaps you can blame yourself.
Some of it is my fault, especially those Domu Deluxe oversized editions, because every time I buy it and I sell it overseas,
Right. Exactly.
every time.
They're all gone, man.
Dude.
Now they're worth $700.
I know. And I mean, in my personal collection, I've squirreled away every single Otomo art book that I could get my hands on, because I'm a big Akira fan.
Yeah.
And that Domu's in there. I have a nice clean copy of Domu in there. But when I do find them, I've had so many people make requests for things like, Grails, the Domu, because there's only 5,000 of them printed. That's why we call it Ed used to call it the 5,000 Club. Are you in the Domu 5,000 Club? And if you are, you're one of a few. And holy grails like this.
Right.
The first appearance of Akira in Yacht magazine,
Yeah, I remember you had one of those that you had found and put it up on your site not too long ago, like a few months back, and it was like, what?
I know. And I kind of got mad at myself for selling it. But when you're first starting out a business, you feel like you have to keep it going,
Exactly.
My wife works with me. Brandon, my part-timer, works with me. I have to pay myself too. I mean, I mostly pay myself in beer and books, but and
what else do you need?
Yeah, what else do you need? Beer, coffee, books,
Yeah.
And but this one I'm actually keeping for myself. I'm gonna, maybe you have an opinion on this. I've never slabbed anything in my life.
Oh, I've got an opinion on it.
And but I seriously, because I'm going to America in this summer to visit some family, and I was seriously thinking about getting that slab just so that I could frame it and put it on the wall or something, because of course the story I already have in every edition of Kira that was released in Japan on my shelf,
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about slabbing?
No, please don't slab it. You can still put it up on the wall if you want to. You can also take it out and still read it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is being able to open it up and smell it.
That's it. It is a tactile experience. This is the original, way that it was intended to be seen when it was released. You're feeling the paper, you're smelling the paper. It's a totally different thing. And if you slab it, it was meant to be read.
Yeah.
It was meant to be loved. Read it, love it.
I always think about it like, how to preserve. Well, I'll just keep it wrapped up for now, and then when I want to read it, unwrap it and then rewrap it. You know what I mean?
You can totally put it in a light safe, like a shadow box frame or something like that.
That's what I need to do, and I really do want to display it, because I mean, I'm the Japan book hunter. I have to have the first appearance of Akira up on my wall,
Yes, you do.
On my shelf at least,
Yes.
So, but yeah, you're right. The thing is, here in Japan, we don't slab.
Right.
Here in Japan, we're lucky to get a hardcover of a manga. You know,
Yeah.
like Viz puts out these like beautiful Berserk hardcover editions, or like these Akira box, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
over my head somewhere. Well, the Dark Horse one is. The American one is.
yeah, we don't get stuff like that. It's very rare that we get something in Japan that is of what a high print quality. So
Yeah. See, it's because it's meant to be cheap and it's meant to be read and then it's meant to be disposed of. Because I think too in Japan, because you have such little real estate, it's get it, read it, away, right?
yeah, and that's especially why magazine first appearances like that, or something like this,
They're
it's
so
an easy,
rare.
yeah, because people read them on the train
Yep.
and then threw them in the garbage when they got off the train.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
it's the same every Wednesday. Today's Thursday morning. On the way to work, I could see stacks of manga magazines on the sides of the road because every Thursday is paper recycling day. And
Sure.
people, their week's worth of Jump or Sunday, they'll just wrap them up and throw them out in the curb, and the city comes by and picks them up and recycles them. And that's why the magazine collecting game here is tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's aggressive.
I bet. Yeah, I mean that's why early comics are American comics are like that, because that's what early American comics were supposed to be too. You got them, they were cheap, cheap paper, you read them, you threw them away. Like my dad was born in 1928. He was the perfect age for when Batman and Superman came out. He had the first appearance of those things, but my grandmother threw them away. It's like the classic story.
Yeah.
And so that's why these things are worth so much money, is because there aren't very many of them. And the way that the because of like the 1950s and Frederick Wertham and stuff like that, comics kind of went to the wayside, became a kids thing. And now it's expensive to print things, and the whole game has changed. And but in Japan it sort of stayed the same. It stayed a popular medium.
Yeah, and while physical manga reading is down in Japan, people still do buy physical manga,
Sure.
like books. And there's a lot of people that maybe just like in anywhere else but I'd say that the digital market is much bigger than the physical market now.
Yeah.
But there's still a huge physical market here.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to like the manga magazine, like the tactileness of having actual physical manga. And this is what you get, this kind of these two color pages, opening pages in the old manga magazines.
Yeah.
This is Shigeru Mizuki. Of course, he did yokai stuff. Gege no Kitaro is his most popular series. Anything ghost and related, he did. And you don't get the texture. You don't get that print quality. You don't get
the way that time has let the ink soak into the paper,
Yeah, right. And even when you get like a little bit of like edge yellowing around it and stuff,
even better.
Yeah, even better. And then if you get like a opening color page, I mean, you're like in manga heaven.
Is that on a different quality paper or no?
Same quality paper.
Amazing.
Same quality paper throughout. The only thing that's different is the covers,
Gorgeous.
But the guts are all the same. So what they tend to do in the old manga magazines is give 4 or 5 pages of color, and then switch to 2 color for about another 10 to 20 pages, and then black and white for the rest.
Usually the full color ones were on like a glossier paper, though, were they not? Or am I wrong?
Sometimes it depends on the publication. Right. This is Manga Action Comics, but sometimes if you get into more of the stapled magazines rather than the square back.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Easier to assemble.
Exactly. Easier to add those glossies in there, right? So it's the same thing, like those you would get like sometimes in the more adult manga, the seinen manga stuff, you would get like 3 glossies of a nudie girl or something in the middle of the manga,
Yeah.
So, and while we usually get, Japanese print quality tends to be poor, we also get some artists get something special, So this is Suge Tadao. He was a regular contributor to Garo magazine. His brother Yoshiharu is one of the most famous mangaka in Japan. There's only been a couple of mangaka that have gotten lifetime art achievement awards from the government. Usually it's high art, like it's some sort of a like highbrow artist that's getting it,
like fine artists, right?
Yeah, fine artists. That's what. So, but Tado's brother Yoshiharu, he was one of them. And Osamu Tezuka Osamu, he also won that award, but it's very rare. But these brothers work together, and this is hardcover with a slipcover, which is really rare. So some artists that were popular did get actual higher quality prints.
Sure.
And I put up, this will be up on my website as well, but I'm always trying to track down like hardcover with a slipcover in good condition, because for manga it's rare. And also then it also means that you're going to get like heavier paper quality.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, this is his early career stuff, so quite simple compared to what he did later in his career. And this one actually happens to be signed by Sugita.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which he did sign stuff, not often, but he did sign stuff, whereas his brother was too famous and did not sign.
Really?
refused to sign stuff. So I'm always on a quest to find his brother's books signed, but
those are like extra rare, right?
Extra rare
and sought after, because he was more famous. More people are seeking that out.
And I think that he was a bit introverted and didn't like doing like public events and stuff like that.
Oh, somebody who spends their entire life in painting in a cave is introverted?
Yeah. I've met many artists and mangaka here in Japan over my years here, and like at exhibitions, signing events, different things, just reaching out to them directly.
Sure.
And there are definitely some that are much more shy than others. So
it's nature of the beast. Same here.
Yeah. Some other stuff that I like to stock on the website. What else can I show you? We already talked. I have some more Katsuhiro stuff, but I'm always tracking down stuff by, of course, Masamune. This is Appleseed.
Yes.
Well, Appleseed's not rare, but getting the large edition is rare, and it's rad because then you're seeing everything more in the original format that it was drawn in.
Right. Yeah, that's about the size that it was probably actually drawn in, right? Physically.
Yeah. Typically, it's about this size.
Yeah.
Compare it to like a regular tankobon.
Right. Yeah. So that would be kind of almost like an artist edition, is what they would be here.
Yeah, almost. And of course, not like a high quality artist edition because it's paperback and everything. But you're at least getting that. You're at least getting that detail that you don't get otherwise.
Right.
Because I mean, usually in a tankobon, the screen tones, like on that robot, are going to be so blurry.
Yeah.
And if they're in the magazine, it's even worse print quality. So then they're all kind of muddled together and stuff. You get a larger edition, and then you can actually see the dots.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Appleseed's something that I have not dug into. I need to. I've always been like kind of drawn to it.
The problem with Masamune, I mean, Dominion C1 pieces. I mean, it's like he's doing all of this epic, like cyberpunk stuff, and he's like, this piece is 3 is like storyboards for Appleseed, Dominion.
Yeah,
look at like that. Sci-fi, and it's like sci-fi space opera stuff.
Is that colored inside or is it black and white?
No, it's all black and white inside. Here, I'll show you. It's a good one. Oh, here's a good panel. Good spread.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That is epic.
And then a lot of times when these guys get older, they've they forayed into, like, they've created a name for themselves. They have all these like great IPs, you know, Ghost in the Shell, Dominion, Appleseed.
Yes.
And then later on in life, they just go on to make porn. It's just, you know, this is Wild Wet Quest. It's wild and wet, man. It's wild and wet. And that's all he does anymore, is he just does series of digital, gross. It's almost like Image in the 90s type stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just gross, digital, sexy. And
I mean,
just
there's something to it, I guess, but
yeah,
he held the dam back long enough, and then, you know, hit a certain age and just it burst.
Yeah, I guess so. And like, I guess it's probably easier for him to draw, you know,
yeah,
like than Appleseed was.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it just turns into wetness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I stock all of them, to be honest, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not pulling any out, but I do stock, you know, vintage adult books because they have amazing illustrators in them. Like, you'll find people like Toshio Saeki. Toshio Saeki was illustrator that published adult magazines. And so I'll find adult magazines from the late 60s through the early 80s that he was published in, find 3 or 4 pages of his stuff in there. And a lot of people that are into like the Saeki Toshios or the Namio Harukawas or these kind of illustrators, it's hard to find access to the books. The books are costing, you know, $150 to $300 each. But you can get a magazine for, you know, $25-$30 that has a few pages of them in there.
Sure. You can get a little taste of it.
Yeah, get a little taste of it. It's a little bit more accessible.
Yeah. It's like drugs.
Yeah.
You get a little taste, and then, you know, if you need more later, you spend the, you know, $1,000 on that book.
Yeah, yeah. And something like the Toshio Saeki, I don't know if I could show any. Oh, here's one I can show a picture of, but a page of, I should say.
Sure, sure.
Toshio Saeki, he also published like almost exclusively in adult magazines.
Super clean. Yeah.
Yeah, really clean style. Very popular in France. There's a
public.
There's Cornelius, I believe, is one that have published, put out books in the last 5 years on Toshio Saeki, because his original stuff like this is Chinushi. And this was released in maybe 2006, out of print. It's a $180 book, you know.
Yeah.
I do track him down, and I'm a big fan of, like, of course I'm the manga guy, but I'm also a big fan of illustrators. Maybe just a couple more here really quick.
Sure, yeah.
And
do you have the original any of the original art by
Oh yeah, I have some right here. A lot of it's hardcore, so I'll have to kind of, but this is original art from La Blue Girl.
Okay.
His second most famous. I'm trying to figure out prices on this now because to be honest, we didn't come to an agreement on price. Okay. He just came over and he's like, I'm going to give these to you. You see what you can sell them for, and then we will go from there.
Oh, wow. Look at those.
And then let me.
Oh, that's so cool. And are those tones, are some of those tones layered tones on top of each other to get some of those effects?
Lines, hand drawn in the background. Okay, these over here, some of them are tones. Some of them are tones scratched out. Some of them are cross-hatching done by hand. So like the hair is not a screen. The hair is not a screen tone on this girl.
Sure.
This
on that. Oh, really?
No, that's right there. That's all hand drawn in that hair. But below it is all screen tone, and the circle of that sun is scratched away screen tone.
Oh my God. I might need that page.
It's in the same page, and then he does like stuff like.
What the hell? That is crazy.
Yeah, man. Anything with the demons or with sexy in it, people love by Maeda, and I mean he is the tentacle master. So
yeah,
I said in the previous video, go over and follow him on YouTube and Instagram. Toshio Maeda. He's an amazing person and an amazing artist. But what else? I have so much of his stuff right here. What's this? This is his assistants. And then nowadays he does stuff like this, like
pencil stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because he actually had a period where he didn't draw for 4 years, he said, because he got hit by a truck, broke his clavicle, and he's like, I couldn't draw, so I just went to Thailand for 4 years. Hung out. It's like, okay, fair enough, dude.
Yeah.
But I try to stock a lot of original art. I'm kind of on other than Maeda Sensei, I'm kind of on a hold for selling original art right now, because in fall I'm going to hold a big art exhibition here in Koenji where I live.
Amazing.
I'm going to have some artists come. I can't say, I know Maeda will be there, but I'm going to have some Japanese manga artists and illustrators come and table. And then I'm going to display my whole personal collection of original art that includes Maruo Suehiro, Ichiba Daisuke pieces, Kensuke Kage, Devilman cells. I have tons and tons of these white shikishi boards by famous artists. There we go.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So I have Satoshi Kon up there, Hayami Jun, Jeff Darrow, Ed Piskor, Kensuke Kage, and I have more and more of these things that I've been collecting over the years.
Beautiful.
And anytime an artist comes in, I'm like, dude, can you draw something for me? I'll hook you up with books,
Yeah, that's fair trade.
Yeah. And then of course, Urotsuki Doji, Legend of the Overfiend, was Maeda Toshio's most famous, because it was made into a famous anime and it made it overseas.
Yeah.
And these are original pages from that.
Beautiful. Gosh.
Yeah. So setting up for the art exhibition, framing stuff is so damn expensive.
It sure is. Yeah.
I spent $1,200 last weekend framing 24 pieces, and it wasn't 24 individual frames. There'd be 4 pieces put into one frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that went together. So it's not even 24 frames. It's like 12 frames, 24 pieces, and $1,200 out of my pocket.
It makes you just want to go punk with it and stick it in a bag and put it in there with a safety pin or something,
Yeah, get some of that like ticky tape, sticky stuff you just put on the back and just stuff it up on the wall.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I thought about that. Well, with those like kind of shikishi boards, those square ones that I have up on the wall, those don't need to be framed. That's the way they're supposed to be displayed. So when you go to like a restaurant in Japan, you'll see them on the wall. If somebody famous comes in the restaurant, like an actor, musician, they'll ask them to sign one, and then they'll stick it up on their wall. It's kind of advertisement for the restaurant. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. I want advertisement for the shop. So
absolutely,
every time I can, I get an artist to draw one for me. So it's kind of got that retro feel to it.
Yeah. You're only 2 years in, man. A couple more years and the whole place is going to be plastered.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And of course, my main job is selling books, but I also go to auctions and buy original art, cells from anime, Genga original pages from manga. And that's something I've been doing a lot more this year and last year and this year. So building up my own personal collection and stuff to sell down the road in the future. But after the art exhibition this year, I will be selling a lot of original art, because I just don't have space for all of it, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's fun. It is really fun. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Gekiga, real manga that's like real life dramatic manga. And this book, Ririshism, is by Kazuo Kamimura. He was a prolific mangaka in the 70s and 80s to the early 90s, when he died at a very early age, I believe 44, something like that. But but super prolific. And this is kind of like an artist edition, hardcover. So you get, artist edition, as in you get to see how his process was.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
I love to read the side notes, and then it'll note what issue of what magazine it was in, what page number it was on. And he was just such a prolific writer. He did years and years of covers for manga action.
Okay.
He did Lady Snowblood, which was made into the movie, starring Kaji Mieko Kaji. He did that manga, but so he did just like a lot of iconic in the manga world, iconic things. And I'm always stalking Kamimura on my website.
Okay.
And yeah, he was a great manga artist and a great storyteller. Can't just show his art without showing his manga.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that two-tone is just, there's something about it. It's not even just like spot color. It's like a two, there's like pink and red, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I like how it switches from like full color to two-tone, and then it'll go back to full color. And I think it's kind of sometimes budgetary.
Yeah. But I almost like the two-tone more,
Yeah, and especially if it's in an old magazine, I like the two-tone more.
Yeah.
If it's something like Maraya that we are looking at before, that it's like hardcore fantasy, man, if I can get full color all the way through, I want it,
Sure.
But it really does depend on the artist,
Yeah,
so,
for sure. Well, that's amazing stuff, man.
I think that's a good sample of the kinds of stuff I'm selling. Everything from Akira to and I'm in my personal collection, I'm really big into like 70s, sexy 70s female centric stuff,
Yeah.
So Hime or Princess, I have some of those up on the website. Jitanu, it's like a group of lady A-team. Think of the A-team, but a group of ladies.
Oh, that's up my alley. That looks really cool.
It's fun. Jitanu 90. And these are by Kawasaki Mieko. She was an assistant to Masaaki Sato. Many people who were his assistants went off to do their own careers because he focused on kind of 007 style.
Sure.
Sexy action with usually a female protagonist. And then she ran away with it and just... So Woman in Black, I'm always trying to stalk Kawasaki Mieko. Everyone loves everything she does. Every time I post it on Instagram, it instantly sells. So, but I also sneak stuff up on the website that I'm not posting on Instagram, of course.
Yep.
So one tip I tell people is hit that search bar, type, if you're into horror manga, type in horror. If there's a manga artist, type that in. And one other good tip is search by availability. In stock, because I have a lot of stuff that's out of stock that I just cannot keep in stock. So
yeah, I learned that real quick.
Yeah, otherwise you'll be perusing through pages and pages of awesome stuff that you can't have.
Right. Yeah, and you're also reachable if people are like looking for something. They can like contact you, and you can kind of keep an eye out for stuff, too, right?
Yeah. And I always do special requests for returning customers. New customers, it depends on what it is, because I honestly have had some problems in the past with people request something rare and then they never come back to get it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, now I have this book on 1970s radios that I need to find somebody to buy.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you got to pay for that up front.
Yeah. So, but I do requests when they're feasible.
Sure.
Some people will come to me with a request like, can you get me the first appearance of whatever X of Devilman in the magazine? And I'm like, I wish I could.
Yeah, totally.
But it's rare here too,
Yeah, exactly. Like I reached out to you and was like, you got any like old Spectre Man stuff? And you was like, that stuff's hard to find, man. Like, okay.
I know. So they make a lot of these what are called a MOOC. A MOOC is like a informational book.
Yeah.
So it'll have pictures, a lot of black and white, and heavy on the text. But they're informational books on like Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Spectre Man, stuff like that. But finding manga and finding really good illustrated books, difficult.
Yeah, I know they only made a few Spectre Man manga like back in the day. I think they did some in the 90s too, but like there was some before that too. And I'm sure that's like impossible to find.
Yeah, it's a lot of times for me, that stuff, it's just getting lucky at a shop.
Yeah.
Getting lucky at a shop, which I'm out at the shops. I'm out at the
It
shops
happens.
4 days a week, digging for stuff. So
yeah,
you never know. You never
so
know.
people should go and check out japanbookhunter.com, and then they can find you posting stuff on YouTube, on your YouTube channel where you do flip throughs. And then it's Japan at Japan_book_hunter on Instagram, right?
Yes, sir. That is me. And yeah, we try to have fun. I'm lucky that everyone that's into what I do is really kind, really like I think I can count maybe 3 negative comments I've even ever had, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, and they're always like kind of like they're not that bad either. They're all kind of underhanded, like little things, like but I try my best to keep it like in a positive environment where everyone can just like chat and have fun and like make comments about and give each other information. Oh yeah, I saw, you know. And I learned so much from my customers and my followers. You know, people will say like, "Oh yeah, he also did this and did this." Great. I go now. It's another thing to hunt for.
I hear you, man. The same thing happens with this channel and the stuff that I do. You know, I've learned so much from my fans. So it's a great thing. It's great to build that kind of community and just keep things positive. You know, that's really important. And you seem to be doing a great job. And I just like wish you continued success. You know, only bigger and bigger, as big as you want to be. How about that?
You too, my friend. I love what you're doing. You're killing it over there. And it's awesome. One of the best parts about this job is being able to link up with comic book artists and creators and mangaka and other people doing stuff that, while I wish I could do it, wasn't for me, wasn't in the cards for me. But you know, like I'm not an artist. I've always dabbled in art, but never been a hardcore artist. But I do know good art when I see it. And
and you're a part of it now. You are a part of it, you know. You're in the mix. You're just as important as people putting, you know, ink on paper. So we appreciate you.
Sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And
absolutely.
Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Join my Patreon to see my work before anyone else, plus score physical sketchbooks, mini comics, and commissions delivered right to your door, and read my new books, Something Seems Off and Three-Headed Pigman, as they are made. Go to my website to order original art, commissions, and my books, Lost Angels, Spectral: A Showcase of Fear, Chaotic Neutral, and more. Gray Matter Drip, The Art of Chris Anderson, is available now from Cosmic Lion Productions. Here are the upcoming conventions I'll be at the time of this recording. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps spread the word. Thanks.